When it comes to disasters, we don't live in a city where we say it could happen here. We live in a city where we say it has happened here. Disaster hit this North Side neighborhood 80 years ago. We get a lot of tornadoes in this region, but in modern times, 3 tornadoes have hit the heart of St. Louis. There was one in 1896. A lot of people remember the winter tornado of '59. And there was this one, 80 years ago, in the fall of 1927. A decade ago, as part of a program about St. Louis disasters, we interviewed some people who were right in the middle of it.
Tornadoes have been described as sounding like freight trains. Well, this sounded like 1,000 freight trains.
The tornado of '27 cut a gash in the city from Forest Park to Fairgrounds Park. It tore through areas of factories, shops, houses, and schools. Hundreds of children were just settling back into their classrooms after lunch when it hit.
You could see the funnel cloud.
Theodore McMillian, who became a U.S. Appeals Court judge, was at Wayman Crow School at Shannon and Bell. Jack Williams was 7 years old. He and his classmates had just come in from the playground at Columbia School.
Then suddenly we began to hear this low rumbling noise, and the teacher evidently feared something was wrong, and she told all of us to put our heads down on the desk.
You know how teachers are. The first thing that they believe in solving any problem is to put your head on the desk.
And I looked out the window, and across the street I saw the roof of the house across the street fly up into the air just like that.
A big wooden telephone post, it's a telephone post, came through the window. When that post crashed through the window, it was time to get out of there.
And we came out of the room, which was right close to the stairwell. But the stairwell had collapsed. And I want to say at this time, this roar of the bricks and the building falling and everything, the stairwell had collapsed, and we looked down to a gaping hole, no place to go. The children were screaming, and some of them had blood on them from cut glasses and everything.
Columbia School was one of the hardest hit. Miraculously, no one was killed there, but 5 girls died at nearby Central High School. After the telephone pole crashed into his classroom, Theodore McMillian didn't wait around. He'd left his new puppies on the roof of his building that morning, and he took off into the storm.
Ran up Leonard, came over Easton, down to Webster, and ran up on the 3rd floor. Rushed out on the roof to see about my dogs.
His new puppies somehow survived the tornado.
The devastation was widespread on Lindell, at Olive and Boyle, Grand and St. Louis, and rescues had to be made, and the Melanthie Hospital had been badly damaged, and patients had died when the walls were torn away. The Army and the National Guard were called out to control the crowds and to protect the property. Frank Engel was a private stationed at Jefferson Barracks. He remembers the looters being rounded up by the wagon load.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had orders to shoot anything out of order. If it was beyond your taking care of, this last thing you do is to shoot them or cripple them one way or the other, you know. But I didn't have to do anything like that. I had no intention to either. I could see that people have their home wrecked. They'd want to get back to their home. How do you know who they are, you know?
People remember the stillness in the aftermath of the tornado. Things had stopped running, and that night all the lights on the street and in the houses were off, and families huddled together in the darkness of their homes.
All of the power was out for a long time because we didn't have any electricity that night, and we didn't have gas at that time. We had a coal stove, so we were still able to prepare some kind of food. But I remember that night we had pancakes.
The pictures can show the extent of the devastation of the tornado of 1927. but words and pictures cannot recreate the experience, the unforgettable sensation of a moment suspended between life and death.
I have never forgotten the sounds of the roar of that tornado, and the sounds of the building collapsing and the roar has stayed with me. It's just as vivid as it happened yesterday.